Hello everyone, this is Minicoder with another tutorial on the series Basic Programming 101. Hope everybody's having a great holiday week. This is being recorded during Christmas week, so I hope everybody's done shopping and getting away from the malls. It's going to be pretty crazy. I've been to a few malls and it's getting pretty bad out there, so hopefully people are utilizing Amazon a little more this year. Anyhow, I have up on my screen the slides we went over last episode and the last tutorial. Just to recap, we went over very briefly what an abstract class is. It's a class that holds functionality that can be spread across other classes. And inheritance is when you want to inherit from an abstract class. You can inherit from other things, but in the context of what we're doing, it would be for particular classes. In our example, we were using animal as an abstract class because it's not the highest, but a higher level of definition of things that are of type cat, dog, and bird. That's a commonality that all of them have, is that all of them are animals. And then all of them will have a name, a weight, and a speed, and all of them probably eat, or they won't make it around very long. So there's a generic method, eat there. And what we say, or what we're theorizing, and we'll prove it out in Visual Studio in a minute, is that when you inherit from animal, you will get all those things, those properties and the methods, and then you can also add your own if you want to. You can also, because you have all those properties, set them with those other objects or classes. So let's dig right in. I'm going to start with a regular class. We'll call it, to keep with the nomenclature we've been using, we'll call it dog. Now, what I did, let me just step back there a little bit. So within our project we already have, I'm not going to make another project. I'm going to keep this relatively simple, just to keep things structured. We'll just call this folder classes, and then inside that folder we're going to do an add, and you can either do new item, that's fine, or new class, and Shift Alt C I use a lot, and it'll take you right up to the class template. You can choose from plenty of templates. There's plenty of sections down here to choose from. Probably in a more advanced course, or while we're doing other things, I'll go over them. But for right now, we're just going to jump right into the class. And as I said, to keep the same nomenclature, we'll call this one a dog. And for now, we'll make it public just for simplicity. So you have a couple options here. You can make it public, private, internal. There was something, protected. For right now, we're just going to do public. Private is just as you would think, is that only things internally can touch it, whereas public, anybody can touch it. Internal is within that same assembly, but we won't go into that for right now. And then we will make a property. I'm going to type it out. There are shortcuts or snippets, they call it. So to make a property, you would do public. Let's do name first. So we'll do string name. Actually, whenever you're making a public property, common practice is a capital N or a camel case. So if you wanted to do, this is redundant, but dog name, that's how you would do two words. So, the next thing after that is you want to define whether this public string of with the name, if it can be retrieved and set. So, if you just do get, actually, I don't think I have to even do that. I could just do get like that. Do I have to go like that? No. Oh, I think I do have to do that. Yes, okay. Alright, so I use the snippet so many times, that's what you get. You don't remember the syntax. So you can do a get and not do a set. Now what this means is that name is read-only. So if I were to down here, let me just make an example real quick. We'll just make a method like we did before. Actually, you know what? We can do this. Let's do this. We're going to create a new object of dog, and I will fully explain this at some point very soon. But I'll just hear me out for a second here. So dog equals new dog, okay, and then dog dot, we have name here, okay, and you can even see in the IntelliSense that it's a get. If we try to name it Fido, we're going to get an error here. And the error is going to say that the property of dog.name cannot be assigned to because it is read-only. So there's some things that you may want to expose publicly that you don't want to allow other people that consume it, like let's say you're doing some math and one of them is pi, right? With the symbol pi, and you have a getter and that returns the 3.14 blah 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 blah. You obviously don't want somebody to overwrite that. You would expose it if you needed to. Not the best example, but I think you get what I'm saying. You might want to expose a particular algorithm of the response, the answer, but you may not want to let them alter the algorithm that's going to make that answer. And this will make sense more when we get into actually writing some application stuff. So for now we're going to set it to getter and setter. You'll notice that error goes away. Let's see, if we go back to our thing here, we had weight, right? So actually let's do speed. So that will be public int speed. Okay. Now, just so everybody understands, usually if you come from the Java world, usually you have to make a public method that sets a private variable, or I'm sorry, a public variable that sets a private variable. You do not have to do that. So in a lot of languages, we would do void speed, okay, and then this would be a private variable, and we would make this underscore because it's private, and then you would have int speed. Actually, this would be called set speed, and then you would set the local speed to equal to the speed that comes in. Okay, and you could do that. What are you complaining about? It's made the same variable. Did you mean to do something? Oh, okay, let's just call it S. We'll do speed like that. Okay. Alright, some people are used to doing that so that you'll call the method and there'll never be an exposure to the actual data. I don't agree with that, and most of the reason why is because when you do it this way, with the public int, I mean the getter and setter, when it compiles down to Microsoft, I can't remember what it is, Microsoft IL code, which is basically the machine language code, it actually does the it makes those private and public variables for you. So this is more of a convenience mechanism, but you can very easily do what I just did. So when you do a get, that is a method. In fact, when we do a get, we can do this and tell it to return something. Okay, and sometimes you want to do that. This is going to complain. Oh, 23. And that's correct like that. And then it wants, when you do a return, it wants a set, because otherwise it probably wants to know why you're not doing something, why you have set at all. So if you wanted to do that, you could do that, and then you get the that would be returning 23, but it would be read-only, so you would be always returning 23 or whatever variable you set. So hopefully that makes some kind of sense. As we get along, it'll make a lot more sense. I probably went in a little deeper than I kind of wanted to. I really just wanted to build out the class, but I wanted to do it in such a way that you'll understand why I'm doing certain things. So we've got the name, we've got the speed. Let's not worry about the weight for right now. And there's a method called findBone. Okay, so let's return void, which, if we remember from one of our other tutorials, means don't return anything, and we'll call it findBone. And we won't actually do anything with it right now, we'll just make it empty. Okay, now what we're going to do is let's make cat. Add class cat. And we're going to do the same thing. Let's just copy this. Public. And there we go. Okay. So we're all set there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make that abstract class. And it's still a class. There's nothing different in the template you use. However, one thing that does change is there's an extra keyword here. You use abstract, and that's going to tell the compiler two things. One is that it's a special class, and that properties inside of here and methods inside of here can be inherited. And the other thing it's going to say is that you can't create a new instance of animal. And the reason for that is because if other classes are reliant on something consistently being in the animal class, that is quote-unquote abstract, then if somebody is able to new up, they call it new up, but create a new object instance of animal, then you're going to very easily, under the covers, sidestep what other classes are using animal. So you can completely change animal, and then other properties may not exist, and then a compile time or runtime is going to fail. So with that said, whoops, I'm sorry, I'm so used to using those. So if we do public, actually, you know what? Here we go. I think I might still have that. Paste. Okay. So we have our name, we have our speed. That hasn't changed, and we'll make a public virtual make noise. Virtual void make noise. What's your problem? Let's declare a body because it's not marked as abstract, internal, or partial. Oh, okay. Do we want to do that? Sure. Let's do that. Let's keep it virtual. We can do abstract a different time. So what it was just saying was that because if you made it abstract, then you didn't have to give it a body, which is anything inside of the curlies. And the reason for that is because it's going to enforce you to use that method within your inheritance, and I can get into that later. However, when you do virtual, that means that the abstract class is doing an implementation, and by using virtual, another class that inherits from it can also use that method, and I'll show that in a second. So let's just do one more public abstract, just to remind me that we're going to look at abstract at some point. Void get weight. or get speed. No, get name. Sorry, get name. Okay, perfect. Alright, so we're very close to the end here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into dog here, and I'm going to end this by saying, okay, you do colon when you want to tell it, hey, I want to inherit something, and then if you look, what it's waiting for right now is, okay, I want a type that you're inheriting from. So if we do animal, now that's great, so it worked. Let me turn off the warnings because I don't really care about that right now. Now what it says is dog does not implement inherited abstract method animal.getName. So you see that it's requiring me to do this method, and that's why you don't need a body. This isn't required, it's virtual, so you can override it. However, there will be an implementation that you can also call an animal. So hopefully that made some sense. I know we didn't get all the way. I was hoping to get a little further. One other thing I want you to notice is that there's some squirrelies over here now. And if you look at the little curlies that are green, if you hover over it says dog.name hides inherited member animal name. Use the new keyword if hiding was intended. So what that's telling you is, hey, are you really sure you want to give a name here? Because you're inheriting from animal, and animal already has this name. See, if I said animal name, right, and I go back, that's going to go away. Because now it knows you're using something different. So let's put that back. Whoops. Let's put that back. Because that means that we can get rid of these two, which is sweet, right? And I'm going to make another method called public void set speed. Okay, it's going to take an integer of speed, and that's going to be it. It's just going to set the speed. Okay, and then when you see something like this, what's pretty cool about the new Visual Studios is you get this question, this light bulb, which means, aha, I think I know what you might want to do. And it shows you, do you want to implement the abstract class, which is pretty cool because now you're going to see ahead of time exactly what it's going to do. So it's going to write this public method that overrides, use that override key name, overrides the abstraction method, and then it's going to throw a not implemented exception, which we have not even touched exceptions yet, so just don't even worry about it. So I'm going to double click on it, and then boom, it creates it, which is beautiful. So right now, if somebody would call this, their application would obviously blow up because it's an exception. An exception basically means like if you're in Word and all of a sudden something blows up, you know, and it's not responding or it just closes. Usually an exception occurred and it wasn't trapped. And we'll get into exceptions and trapping way down the line. So with that in mind, we're almost to 19 minutes, so I'm going to stop this now. And I'm going to record the next video right now, so you will, by the time either one of these are uploaded, both will be there, and we'll try to finish up some of the abstract and inheritance concepts. What I'd like to do in the next one is I want to set the speed that's inside of animal to show you that the speed really is over here. And I would like to actually implement getName and then show you that each dog, cat, they'll all have their own speed and their own name. So for now, have a good night, and like I said, I'll be doing another video right after this, and hopefully it'll probably be the same thing, about 20 minutes, and then we should be able to move on to some of the other topics. Alright, so have a great night,